Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and just to be on the safe side, hello, and welcome to another episode of LEN Live Chat with me, Lynn, coming at you from a sunny Germany. Yay! Spring has sprung. Well, just about. We've got snowdrops, we've got crocuses, or should that be croci for you linguists out there? And yeah, things are looking up at last. I know we haven't had a real winter, but what winter we've had I'm sick of, so I'm really looking forward to spring. I hope you've got a nice sunny day where you are too, and you're enjoying it, whatever the weather. What is it? We'll weather the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. So let's crack on. What's been going on in live chat this week? And April kicked us off last week. Sounds a bit wrong, that, doesn't it? But April kicked us off last week with a message for the first quiz for dummies in Kitely, and which was very exciting. She and Zeb organised the quiz and ran the quiz and hosted the quiz and took part in the quiz along with other members of the network. If you're new to the network and you haven't explored a bit, this is why I say explore the network. Okay, there's all sorts of stuff going off here, and not all of it involves learning grammar rules. Okay, there's a lot of fun stuff going on. So April wrote, the first quiz for dummies in Kitely. We did it! Well, first of all, congratulations and thank you to Zeb for her performance as quizmaster last night. Well done, Zeb. Okay, so what you'd say is, first of all, congratulations. Okay, I don't know why, but we always use the plural. Congratulations and celebrations. That's probably going to have Google on my back again. Google, it's a snippet, okay? I'm using it in context of teaching English. So don't think that Cliff Richard will be after my blood for that little bit, okay? Anyhow, congratulations, plural. And I'm not sure if we can call Zeb quizmaster. Should it be quizmistress or quizperson? Quiz leader? I don't know. I think quizmaster is sort of becoming the generic term now. It was meant to be a quiz for dummies, said April, but the participants should not be underestimated, and the questions as well. And the questions as well. The questions shouldn't be underestimated either. The participants should not be underestimated, nor the questions. Okay, that would be maybe a bit better, shorter, simpler. To all participants, thank you for your presence. I hope I use the word presence correctly here, Lynn, which you do, April. Well done. I know you've had a problem with presents as in gifts and presence as in being there, so excellent. And enthusiastic participation, she says, which I also thank you all, because I know I couldn't attend and I was a bit worried, but I think sometimes it's good just to meet up without me being there, without a Matsu being there, without a teacher being there. Less fear then of making a mistake and more fun. Yeah, let's put the fun back in learning English. Zeb replied to April and said, I can't wait to be a player next time, April. It's tough to be a quizmaster. Yep, it's tough standing back and letting other people have all the fun, isn't it, Zeb? I replied, I've heard you did a great job, Zeb. Being quizmaster is a huge responsibility. You have to keep record of everyone's scores and tell people if they're wrong or not. The best thing to do is to act like an umpire. Your word is final, no arguments. I wonder if there's a script out there that could help. I took part in a quiz in Second Life once and they had a score counter. I shall look into it. And Zeb replied, you said responsibility? Now you're scaring me. The most difficult for me was to enunciate and speak clearly. So you'd say the most difficult thing for me was to enunciate and speak clearly. Not mentioning a few pronunciation quacks, but I'll work on this for next time. Hee, sealing. Not sailing. I do hear about these things. And Zeb then replied to April, there had been a second quiz the next Saturday. Okay, so not there had been. There was a second quiz the next Saturday. Or there was a second quiz on Saturday would be even more natural. A pure pleasure to have been a player this time. Thank you for having hosted it, April. It seems like both quizzes have had a bit of a success. Okay, it seems as if both quizzes were successful, I would say, just to make it sound more natural. Okay, we're thinking seriously to make it a monthly event, aren't we, April? Okay, we're thinking seriously, of making it a monthly event, aren't we, April? I'd love it if you made it a monthly event, really, and I'll even try to come to one, but as a player, not as a... And I won't come disguised. Do you know what, everybody who's listening? Zeb thought I'd come disguised using a voice changer and a different avatar. That would be too sneaky, okay? I'm not here to catch you out, honestly. White said hello, and I think you said hello later as well, White, so I don't think we replied there. So let's see. Ah, yes, White then said, is there anyone here? So capital I for is, White, and no space after here before your question mark, okay? The punctuation at the end of sentences comes straight after the last word, no spaces, and then you have a space for the next sentence, okay? Anna wrote, hi. Zeb said, hi, White, how are you doing? And White said, I'm fine, how are you? And again, I, capital I, White, and no space after you and the question mark. Zeb said, excited actually. In an hour or so, I'll meet up again with my Spanish-English exchange partner. Internet communication makes it very easy. Then she wrote, I seem to have put you off, White. Can we have another go? Well, you have to be brave. You know, you have to be brave to these conversations. You also have to remember that you started a conversation and to come back to it, okay? It does amuse me when people just leave you hanging in the air, don't they, Zeb? Anyhow, I replied to White's "Is there anyone here?" With "Hi," not 24/7, but on a Tuesday morning from 9:30 CET, which is Central European Time, people, Berlin time. I'm online. Just check the network calendar. Calendar. The loneliest place on the network, the poor calendar, updated every week, and nobody bothers to look at it. It feels so alone. Anyhow, White then said, okay, I'll thank you so much. I'll thank you? When are you going to do that? When you say I'll, it's like making a promise for the future. So really all you needed to say there, White, was okay, capital O, capital K, or capital O, K-A-Y, comma, thank you so much. That's it. You're just thanking me. I then said, I record the messages here and correct them every week too. You might enjoy listening. And Tot came in and said, hi, White. My name is Tot. Nice to meet you. Yes, teacher. I enjoy to listen your weekly broadcast very much. Excellent. But best to say, I enjoy listening to your weekly broadcast. Okay? Or I really enjoy listening to your weekly broadcast. We always listen to something or listen to someone, and we enjoy doing something. Okay? And let's scroll up. Sarwan came in and said hi, and Joe said hi. Shouted it really loudly. Hi. Sarwan ran away screaming. Don't take it personally, Joe. Okay? You just have to just keep at it. Anyhow, Eliane Shadow Song, what a wonderful name, I love it, came in and said, anyone alive? Been talking to Alice. She seems a bit not so lively and talkative to me. Soz. So, anyone alive? Capital A, okay? Even when it's a question, your first word starts with a capital letter in every sentence, in every question, okay? So, anyone alive? And then capital B. In fact, I wouldn't say been talking to... It's okay, but it's very informal. I have been talking to Alice. And then you could say, comma, she doesn't seem very lively or talkative to me, full stop. And then soz, we normally write it S-O-Z. It's short for sorry, by the way, anybody who's confused by that, S-O-S. If you write S-O-S, Eliane, it means... save me. It means I'm in danger. It's like Mayday, Mayday. So best to write soz, S-O-Z, capital S-O-Z. Very slangy, otherwise just write sorry. If you're in a lesson or if you're in a test or an exam, don't use these short forms, don't use this sort of slang form. Your English teacher will just mark you down out of pure spite, because most English teachers don't like slang. I get told off for teaching ain't in one of the lessons. Should you be teaching this? Well, if it's good enough for the Rolling Stones, it's good enough for me. Zeb replied to Eliane, and actually I replied first. Ha, you see? No, Zeb replied first. Okay, Zeb replied to Eliane. Sorry, these discuss We had a talk about this, April and I, online, and the discuss threads do go a bit bumpy sometimes. So, Zeb replied to Eliane first. Hi Eliane, I've heard of Alice on the grapevine, but we've never met or talked with each other. Could you get back to me if you ever meet her? And I replied, Hi Eliane, I think I'm still alive, but it's morning, so I can't be 100% certain. Poor Alice, she does her best. And then I replied to Zeb, you should have a chat with her. I'll pass on this one, said Zeb. I'll pass on this one, Lynn. I'm almost certain that Alice can't pick up contextual information from a conversation to make it interesting for me. Well, the way artificial intelligence is going, Zeb, it's only a matter of time. Okay, so I then replied, let me see. Okay. Yes. Zeb replied, have you heard of the film Her by Spike Jonze? It is about a man who falls in love with Samantha, his smart device's operating system. Yeah. And I replied to Zeb, there was also Simone, or Sim1, if you're clever enough to figure that one out, starring Al Pacino, and I gave a link to the IMDb movie database. When Nicola Anders, the star, played by Winona Ryder, of out-of-favour director Victor Taransky's Al Pacino new film refuses to finish it, Taransky is forced to find a replacement. Contractual requirements totally prevent using her image in the film, so he must reshoot. Instead, Victor experiments with a new computer program he inherits from late acquaintance Hank Aleno, alias Cotius, which allows creation of a computer-generated woman which he can easily animate to play the film's central character. Victor names his virtual actor Simone, a name derived from the computer program's title, Simulation 1. Seamlessly incorporated into the film, Simone, Rachel Roberts, gives a fantastic performance, exactly controlled by Victor. The film is immediately a huge success. The studio and soon the world ask, who is Simone? Okay, so worth watching, honestly. Elaine said, whoa, thanks Teach. Anything else you'd recommend to watch? Not necessarily about artificial intelligence and all that nerd stuff. Hey, I'm a nerd, Ilian. I like Big Bang Theory. Yeah, we've got lots of films that we talk about on the forum, and also if you look at the network, I recommend films specifically for learners, and they're all ones that I've enjoyed watching. Some of them are old, some of them are new, most of them have a sort of British English slant because there's lots of stuff out there on the internet about American movies, so I like to go for less well-known ones. Zeb went, and Sim1 is indestructible. I'm adding it to my watching list. Okay, we call it a watch list or a must-watch list, yeah? Or a to-watch list. Like we have a to-do list, you can have a to-watch list or a to-read list. When you're talking about lists, all the rules go out of the window, okay? Eliane replied to Zeb and her Spike Jonze film, Her, which I admit I haven't watched either. Eliane said, nah, not really, though it somehow rings a bell. Is it worth watching? Very good. I mean, your standard of English is very high, Eliane. So do keep chatting. We need all the help we can get here, you know. I love people who use idioms correctly. Zeb replied, no idea, I haven't watched it either. The film came to mind when I asked myself whether I'd be reluctant interacting with an AI like Samantha when I have a crave for interactions. Okay, you have a craving, okay? When I have a craving for coffee, I just go and make one. When I have a craving for chocolate, I fight it. Okay, well, I guess I wouldn't mind communicating with an AI since I gave my computer a name. Ah, the naming of things, very interesting. Anthropomorphization, there you go. Turning things into personalities. I do it too, by the way. I used to have a name for my coat. I'm with you on this, said Eliane. My iPhone has a name too. I think it's kind of cute when you give names to some objects around you. Yes, it is kind of cute. I'm beginning to think you're a native speaker. So all of those who are learning, resist the temptation, again, in a test or an exam to write kinder. because your English teacher will just go, ha 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 ha, I shall mark that with a red pen. They can't help themselves, you know. I resist the temptation. I threw my red pen away a long time ago. I only use it in my accounts now, unfortunately a little bit too much. So, Zeb then replied, the name I gave to my computer is the same as my avatar, Zeb. So I guess when some people think I'm a bot, it might be true. Lol. Oh, this is getting a little bit existential, Zeb. I also talked to it as Zeb, especially when I switched it on or off, and also when Zeb doesn't behave itself. Do you give a female or male name to your iPhone? Okay, so, I also talked to it makes it sound as if it no longer exists. So I'm presuming this is an old computer. If it's not, if you still do this, you'd say I also talk to it as Zeb, especially when I switch it on or off, and also when Zeb doesn't behave itself. Again, you mixed it up. I talked, doesn't behave itself is present, talked to it was the past, so I can only presume you're still doing that. When you're writing a sentence, check out the verbs, check that they kind of match with the timeline you're thinking of, past, present, future. So Eliane answered, did you give a female or male name to your iPhone? Ha ha ha, I know the feeling. When you start talking to objects in different situations, like I sometimes talk to the laptop too, when it's too slow, or to the car from time to time, come to think of it, it's really funny. Okay, so, rather than I know the feeling, I think you could say, I know what you mean. When you start talking to objects in different situations. For example, I sometimes talk to my laptop too, when it's too slow. Okay, I sometimes talk to my laptop when it's too slow, or to the car from time to time. Come to think of it, it's really funny. I call my phone Zero, credit to some vampire anime I watched long time ago. Okay, I watched a long time ago. And since its colour is white, okay, and since it's white, it is, yeah? Its colour is white. You wouldn't mention it. White is a colour, okay? It's like saying its colour is a colour, okay? So, since it's white, and because it's white, in fact, IT''S, I think that's a pretty good choice for him. And yes, it's a boy. Sounds like you're holding it up to the world saying, congratulations, it's a boy. Lovely conversation, guys. Well done. Anna popped in and said, hi. I replied, hi, Anna. And she said, hi, teacher, how are you? We carried on the conversation later, Anna. So, yeah, I apologise for not saying, I'm fine, thank you, and how are you? Joe came in and said, hello, Anna. And Anna said, hello, how are you? So, Anna, when you're starting any conversation written, capital H, hi, full stop. Capital H, hello, full stop, or comma, and then when we're writing in letters and in notes and in emails, the first sentence after the greeting, hello, or good morning, good afternoon, or to whom it may concern, we write the first sentence with a capital, okay? So, how are you with a capital H? Joe said, hello, probably due to the physical work of the last 4 days, my left arm is very sore. How are you? I hope you're all right. Regards. Joe, that's so open and honest of you. No Brit would say, oh, well, actually my arm's sore. We just say, I'm fine, thank you. Even if our arm's hanging off by a thread, we'd go, I'm fine, thank you. But I hope your arm's feeling better, Joe. So if you're going to say something like that when somebody asks you, if you're going to actually tell them about your aching back or your headache or your hangover or you're dying or whatever, you just say actually, yeah, because then it warns them, I'm going to tell you the truth. You asked, I'm going to tell you. So you'd say, hello, actually, probably due to the physical work of the last 4 days, my left arm is very sore. And then you could say, how about you? Not how are you, because that's the response to how are you. I'm fine, thanks, how are you? But you've given her more information, so you could say, how about you? I hope you're all right. Regards. Very good. Anna doesn't come back to that one, but this is what happens in live chat. The conversation goes ahead, and then before you know it, it's taken a completely new turn, and people have forgotten about a thread earlier. Never take it personally. Never take it personally. Don't go, oh, well, they don't want to talk to me. And just try and keep it going if you can. So Anna said hi again. A lot of highs, Anna. Again, capital. And then she wrote, is there anyone here? So capital I, Anna, for is. Zeb replied, hello, Anna. Sure there is. My name's Zeb. And Anna wrote, hi Zeb, how are you? So, hi, capital H, Zeb, capital X, because it's Zeb's name, and then capital H, how are you? Still with sleepy eyes, said Zeb, but I should be fully awake after another cup of coffee. Is it morning for you as well? And Anna said, yeah, I had breakfast and so I'm fresh. Okay, you might not want to mention whether you're fresh or not. So, yeah, capital Y, and if you're in a test, yes. Okay, yeah is also slang. Your red pen teacher will attack it. Yeah. Then capital I, I've had breakfast. I have had breakfast. Because you're talking about today, your experience of today. Today is still going on. So I've had breakfast. Or if it was like now this afternoon, you could have said, yeah, I had breakfast this morning, but we know it's still morning because you've said so. So yes, I have had breakfast, and so I'm, and capital I, feeling refreshed, or I'm feeling fit for the day. Fresh is like fresh or stale, or it can mean a fresh, cheeky type of person. Okay, oh, she's very fresh. It could mean something else, so avoid that one, I would, if I were you, Anna. Zeb then said, may I ask you what you had for breakfast? Oh, that's a lovely way of asking somebody a question when you don't know them very well. May I ask you? Perfect, Zeb, well done. And Anna said, a glass of tea and bread with butter and jar. So A, capital A, glass of tea. And did you have it in a glass, Anna? See, I don't drink tea in a glass. I know some people do. It happens in Germany a lot. They drink out of a glass of tea, but I always have a cup of tea because I'm British. But maybe you did mean a glass of tea, and then comma, and bread and butter with jam. I think you meant jam, because jar is made of glass, and that's what your jam comes in, a jam jar. Okay, so a glass of tea, comma, and bread and butter with jam. We always say bread and butter. Never butter and bread, never butter with bread, never bread with butter, it's bread and butter. In fact, it's even a slang. It can mean what you earn for your daily living. Yeah? How do you earn your bread and butter? Okay, Zeb then said, was it a jar of marmalade, Anna? Or maybe it was a jar of Marmite. Yuck. Okay, a jar of marmalade. That would be good for breakfast, because in England, marmalade is usually made of oranges, limes, lemons, citrus fruit. And jam is made of sweet fruits like strawberries and berries like blackberry, raspberry, that kind of thing. Okay. Anna said yes. So Anna, capital Y, yes, comma, it was a jar of marmalade, full stop. Zeb replied, I don't add anything on my buttered bread. I think I like too much butter for that. Okay, I don't put anything on my buttered bread. Okay, or I don't add anything to my buttered bread, but I don't put anything on my buttered bread. I think I like butter too much for that. I like too much butter. That would mean you put too much butter on your bread. Okay, this is where it matters. Okay, so I know you don't like saying it. You prefer your way, but it confuses. If you put too much butter on your bread, that means you've got an overabundance of butter on your bread. If you like butter too much to add anything else, it means you don't want anything else because you love butter. Okay, I go for salted butter. And you, Anna, is it salted or unsalted butter that you put on your bread? Anna said, I think butter with jam is great. Try it. So Anna, capital I, okay, full stop after great, and then capital T, try it, full stop. I already tried it, but I didn't enjoy it. Okay, I have already tried it, but I didn't enjoy it. Okay, I have done it in my life. Your life's not over. If you wanted to put, I tried it last year, I tried it when I was young, then you put a time frame on it, and then you use the past simple, I tried it, I did that. Okay. I also tried buttered bread with cheese, camembert, and jam on the top. Ooh, okay, not on the top, but on top. It's kind of speciality in the area of France I grew up. Okay, it's a kind of speciality in the area of France I grew up in, or where I grew up. Not one of my favourite either. Not one of my favourites either. Have you ever tried jam and cheese together, Anna? What a question. Anna said, capital I, Anna, I tried jam with cheese together, but I didn't like it, capital I. Okay. I have tried jam with cheese, comma, but capital I, didn't like it. Zeb, no and. You put and Zeb. No need for that. Just put full stop after it, and then Zeb, capital X. Do you like jam and cheese together? Question mark. And Zeb said, no, it's not a good mix for me, but my brother Sylvian likes it. I think, it's Sylvain likes it. Is Sylvain the one who likes Marmite? I'm sorry, but anything Sylvain likes, I probably wouldn't like, if it is him. I put unsalted butter on my bread, said Anna. So Anna again, capital I, and don't forget to finish your sentence off with a piece of punctuation, full stop in this case. Zeb replied, in Australia they seem to love their butter bread. It's kind of cake. Okay, it's a kind of cake. I say kind of because for me it's more like eating a piece of mortar. One spoonful and you can guess what it may feel like swallowing a stone. Worse, if you have a gulp of water afterwards, you suddenly feel like it was a porous stone that is now occupying all the room in your stomach. Ooh, that sounds horrible, Zeb. I've never heard of butter bread. I'll have to ask my Australian friend about that. Zeb also replied, I think the English are weird. Oi! They seem to use the word, okay, I've got you. They seem to use the word marmalade only for orange marmalade. Then for jam, they seem to use the word conserve. This really puzzles me. Okay, we don't use the word conserve. We do if we're being pretentious, but we just use the word jam. So for conserves, I think you meant, we use the word jam. Absolutely, there's nothing weird in that. You know what you're getting. Okay? Anna replied, right. I replied, you ate a jar, Anna? Where's the jam in the jar? My breakfasts are usually very boring. No full English for this Brit. Just measly muesli bickies. Okay, and Anna replied, I make a mistake of typing, that's all. So, I made a typing mistake, that's all. Capital I, and that's THAT apostrophe S, because it's short for that is all. Zeb replied, I think that it is also called a typo. You're quite right, a typing mistake is called a typo. And Anna replied, oh yes. And she replied to me, do you believe to the mistake of typing that's all? Okay, do you believe I just made a mistake typing? Okay, that's what I would say. Do you believe I just made a mistake typing? Question mark. And of course I believe you. If you tell me it was just a typing mistake, Anna, I believe you, honestly. And then Tot popped in and said to Anna, hi Anna, my name is Tot. Nice to meet you. I love bread with butter too. Okay, I love bread and butter too. But, okay, then you could put a comma because, it doesn't matter, but usually when you write but, it's in the middle of a sentence. It's a joining word, okay? So, comma, but I must drink a cup of milk tea every morning to keep me awake, okay? But I must drink a cup of milky tea every morning to keep me awake. Sometimes toast with peanut butter. Yummy! Hi, Tot, said Anna. Nice to meet you too. Oh, I don't like peanut butter. Okay, H, capital H, Tot, capital T, comma, hi Tot, comma. Nice to meet you too, capital N, and then full stop. Oh, and it's an interjection, so an exclamation. So you put oh, and then maybe an exclamation mark. Oh, surprise, yeah? I don't like peanut butter, capital I, full stop at the end. Is it the same bread as in Europe, Tot? Said Zeb. I can't figure out what a bakery looks like in Asian countries. That's true. I've never been to an Asian bakery. Hi, Zeb, said Tot. Yes, our breads have a little bit different look from Europe. Okay, our breads look a little different to European breads. And then Tot says, pineapple buns, or name Rocky buns, I have just Google searched the English name of it, is one of my favourite bread. Okay, so pineapple buns, and then brackets, Rocky buns, I've just Googled the English name for them, are one of my favourite breads. Okay, because you've said pineapple buns. A pineapple bun is one of my favourite breads, or pineapple buns are one of my favourite breads. Notice that breads is plural there, okay? You could say one of my favourite kinds of bread, okay? Or one of my favourite types of bread. Breads, when you're talking about different kinds of breads, you can often use the plural, okay? Sometimes we can go to the Chinese restaurant for breakfast to enjoy the dim sums, such as shrimp dumplings, siu mai, steamed beef meatballs, and steamed buns, etc. Okay, excellent. Sometimes we can go. I'd just say sometimes we go to the Chinese restaurant for breakfast, and then comma, to enjoy the dim sums such as shrimp dumplings, siu mai, steamed beef meatballs, and steamed buns, etc. And steamed buns, it wouldn't be a capital S. Okay. And Zeb replied, this sounds funny to me, Tot, as it means that what I call bread is not at all what you call bread. In my culture, bread would always be plain, a mixture of flour, salt, wheat, or other kind of cereal, and yeast, no filling of any sort, except if you use the bread to make a sandwich. I like dim sum's cuisine, yummy, but not for breakfast. So, I like Chinese cuisine, or I like dim sums, yummy, but not for breakfast. Yeah, said Tot, we have different culture. Okay, we have a different culture, or we have different cultures, or we come from different cultures. That's a nice way of saying it. We will fill in whatever we want inside our breads. Okay, we will fill our breads with whatever we want. We also have pain bread. Pain bread, that sounds awful. Pain, do you mean? Pain is, always makes me laugh when I see that in French, which is French for bread, because it is spelt like pain. Get your pain here. Oh, I have no idea how to pronounce this, Tot. Juzaibo. Similar to your French bread, baguette, but smaller one. Okay, it's similar to your French bread, French capital F, baguettes, but smaller, full stop. For us, many people love to eat dim sums for breakfast, but I don't have time. Go to restaurant every morning for breakfast. Okay, here, many people love to eat dim sums for breakfast, comma, but I don't have time to go to a restaurant every morning, full stop. I will buy the breads and milk tea, then back to work quickly. Okay, I buy the dim sums and my milky tea and get back to work quickly. Do you take them back to work, Tot? Do you carry them with you and eat them at your desk? Call that takeaway. Zeb replied, your breakfast sounds like a quick fix, Tot, lol. I remember now about a special breakfast I had in Guangzhou, a cooked breakfast, and I enjoyed it. After landing early in the morning, my friend and I took the tube to the hotel. There, a local guy who had his inland connection flight cancelled offered to help us getting around town, which would give him an opportunity to use his English. That was a deal. First thing we did after checking in was to go to eat something. I don't know how to describe the place we went to, neither what I ate, but thanks to this guy it was our first immersion into Chinese food and cafe atmosphere. Excellent. Maybe I should try to slow down and enjoy my breakfast, said Tot. I'm happy for you to have this special breakfast experience. Okay, if you're happy for somebody to have something, you're kind of talking about the future. So what you'd say, because this is the past, this is when Zeb was in China in the past, I'm happy that you had this special breakfast experience. It sounds wonderful, actually, Zeb. Lovely. Zeb then said, Tot, is it usual for people to have breakfast at street stalls, or is it only in Asian movies? And Tot replied, sometimes when we're running out of time for breakfast, we will eating at work or street. Okay. Sometimes, comma, when we're running out of time for breakfast, we will eat at work or on the street. Of course, it will be too stressed and not a good way to have our breakfast like that. Okay. Of course, it is stressful and not a good way to have breakfast like that. Then, different from your culture, you will take a long time to enjoy your French cuisine, right? Okay, so different from your culture, small c, not capital C. You take a long time to enjoy your French cuisine, right? And again, French, capital F, good. Cuisine, not necessary, just French cuisine. I don't think we are numerous to sit at the table for breakfast in France, said Zeb. Ooh, I don't think there are many of us who sit at the table for breakfast in France. That's what you would say. Many people have just a cup of coffee before commuting or on the way to work. Okay, many people just have a cup of coffee before commuting, comma, or on the way to work. But it's a different story for lunchtime. It is sacred. Okay, but it's a different story at lunchtime. It is sacred. Between 1 hour, 1 hour and a half is dedicated to this moment. Okay, so to make it sound more natural, Zeb, you just say between an hour, or from an hour to an hour and a half is dedicated to this moment. Legally, it should be no more than 1 hour, but we're French. I've heard about these notorious French lunches. Drives people like me mad, because I just like, okay, that's an hour, that's enough for me for lunch. In fact, I usually just take half an hour. I probably wouldn't fit in well with the French company. They'd think I was a workaholic. Okay, then Zeb said, do you run into your lunch meal as you do with breakfast? Okay, do you run into would be more, I ran into a friend yesterday, which would mean I met them on the street. Or if you run into somebody in your car, that's very fatal. It can be very dangerous. Do you rush into your lunch meal as you do breakfast, is what I would say. Tot said, oh, I think most of you will take a sit and enjoy a great breakfast outside the restaurant, same as the French movies show us. I'm sorry, you've said it spot on next, Tot. The truth is, don't believe the movies. Yeah, these stereotypes we have are often because of the media's fault. So, now you wouldn't say I think, because now you know better, you put it in the past. So you'd say, oh, I thought most of you sat down and enjoyed a huge breakfast outside the restaurant, the same as in the French movies, or the way the French movies show us. Okay, we have 1 hour for lunchtime too, and not rush as breakfast for me. Oh, that's good, Tot. So we have an hour for lunch too, and we don't rush it like breakfast. Or it's not a rush like breakfast is for me. Okay, that's good, because rushing is probably okay once in a while, but every day it's not good. Martin popped in. Anyhow, that was the end of breakfast. Martin popped in and said hello. Aladdin said hello yourself. Don't forget to finish your sentence, even if it's just a little short thing. So Martin, capital H and a full stop at the end. Aladdin, you got the capital H, well done, but a full stop wouldn't go amiss. And same to Zeb. Hello Martin, full stop. Okay, then scrolling up, Sem came in and said hi all, and Zeb replied, hi Zem. We are mainly talking about breakfast this week. Do you eat or drink anything in the morning? And April popped in and said, I mostly have a brunch, breakfast, lunch. Okay, we wouldn't say a brunch, we'd just say, I usually have brunch, and breakfast, lunch. That's what brunch is. BR from breakfast, UNCH from lunch, brunch. Every day of the week or just at the weekend, April? Asked Zeb. Every day of the week, Zeb, said April. The whole week round. Okay, with the whole week through. Okay. I think I just eat whenever I'm hungry. Oh, I'd be as big as a house if I did that. Zeb replied, does it means that you have a sleep in every day of the week? Okay. Does that mean that you have a lie-in every day of the week? Can't be true on Monday, though. Only a mug of coffee on Monday, said April. Like today, it's 2:30 p.m. and I have just eaten my brunch. Oh, it can't be brunch if you're eating it at 2:30 p.m, April. I'm sorry. brunch is between breakfast and lunch. Anything after that is lunch. Or maybe it's dinner. I have just eaten my lunch. Unhealthy, I know, but why should I eat if I'm not hungry? Zeb replied, if breakfast implies eating some food, I fear that many people are just like you, April. Did you know that not eating in the morning is said to slow down your metabolism? April replied, I used to do the night shift for a long time. So the morning when I finished my shift was the time to sleep. Understandable that I didn't eat anything just before sleeping, and a slow metabolism at that moment wouldn't matter at all, right? Very good. Zeb replied, does it mean that you're being awake and sleeping as if you were still on a night shift schedule? Okay, I think what you wanted to say, Zeb, is, does that mean that you're awake and sleeping as if you are still on a night shift schedule? Okay. And I wrote, shift work is not good for your long-term health. We really are programmed to be up and about during the day. It's true, you know, look it up, scientifically proved. We won't know yet. April's not replied yet, so April, get in there and let us know. Are you still working shifts even though you're retired? Yasmin said, hello. And Zeb said, are you Echo? Or are you echoing, did you mean? Or are you an echo? Is that what you meant, Zeb? And I wrote, or maybe howling. Yasmin, come back to us, let us know. So it's fun to put hello, don't do it in a test, and capital H, Yasmin, regardless if you write hello or hello, capital H. Mahendra said hello. Don't forget full stop after your hello, Mahendra. And I went, hi, Mahendra. And then Anna came in, and back to breakfasts. So Anna, try to keep the thread going by replying, okay? But it's okay starting a new thing, but maybe if you wrote back to breakfasts, or to introduce it, or tell people that we have been talking about breakfasts already, okay? Anna wrote, what's your idea about orange juice or an egg for breakfast? So capital W for the start of your sentence, just one question mark at the end, that will do. And Zeb replied, eggs? No, thank you very much. You could put eggs question mark and then no thank you very much. Or just no thank you with an exclamation mark. I take it you don't like eggs, Zeb. In general, no cooked breakfasts for me in the morning. It would upset my stomach. I often eat an orange in the morning, so a freshly squeezed orange would be lovely, thank you. I can't have any during summertime though. Oranges are a winter fruit in France. Okay, I can't have any during the summertime, or I can't have any during summer though. And do you not have imported oranges in France? Maybe you don't. Get oranges all year round in the UK and in Germany. I'd be happy with that, Anna, I said. What do you think of bacon, eggs, sausage, mushrooms, fried bread, some toast with jam and orange juice, along with a big pot of tea for breakfast, Anna? April couldn't resist and jumped in saying, that's my favourite, especially when they are already served on the table when I get up. Oh, you need to go to bed and breakfast in the UK, April. I had it every morning when I stayed with a Scottish family in Edinburgh. Aha, yes, exactly. Best place for a full English breakfast is not a hotel. It's a bed and breakfast, honestly. A good one, not a mean one, but a good bed and breakfast will give you a fantastic English breakfast. Unfortunately, I can only eat one in a week. Other than that, I'll just have some toast, thank you. Zeb replied and said, lucky you're not still living with them. I think it would have shortened your lifespan. Exactly, Zeb. It's not something you should do every day. April said, maybe I could sue them for feeding me too much cholesterol. Now I know why I've got my cardiac blood vessel obstructed. Oh, bless you. Now I know why I've got blood vessel obstruction. Okay. I'm not sure you stayed long enough there for any long-term damage, said Zeb. Thus my question, are you going the American way, suing whenever possible? April's not come back on that. I think she's getting legal advice, Zeb. Anna said to my initial question about full English breakfast, all of them are good. I'd like sausage, orange juice, mushroom, and I like to eat a full breakfast. Okay, capital I. I'd like sausage, orange juice, and mushrooms. Okay, and then after your comma, Anna, a little space. So sausage, comma, space, orange juice, comma, space, mushrooms, comma, space, and etc. or something like that. I would like to eat a full breakfast, but mostly I drink a glass of tea with bread and butter and jam. Okay, bread and butter with jam. Okay. Oh, Anna, said Zeb, you should go to the UK to try and maybe enjoy a full English breakfast. Exactly. When I first came to Germany, I replied, that's what everyone thought I ate every morning. I'd be the size of a house if I did. Yeah, it is something we just do on high days and holidays. Some people do it, but they tend to have very physical work. So builders, labourers, truckers, people who are on the road all the time, they might start the day every day with a full English. Your general office worker, couple of biscuits, maybe a bit of toast, cup of tea, that's about your lot. Okay. Bieber popped in and said hello everybody, and I said hi Bia. Oh, sorry, I should have written Bieber, I'll change that. And Ice Creme popped in and said hello, I'm new here, what's up? So hello, capital H. No need to put an exclamation mark because it's not surprising, it's just hello. And then I'm new here, perfect. What's up? Capital W, and end it with a question mark. And again, what's up is not something you'd say in a test or exam. How are you, or what's happening, what are you doing? So what's up is very what's up. And I wrote, hi Ice Creme, is your nick a pun on ice cream? And that was it. So we've run out of time today, but don't worry, April. I will make the recording I promised of the bit I missed last week, and it happened again today. Something I wrote didn't appear for ages, so sometimes discuss is a bit squirrely. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed listening to today's recording, and I hope to see you around on the network, maybe in a session where I can actually speak. But make sure that whatever you're learning, you're using. Okay, then it makes a lot more sense than just keeping on learning. Take care. Thanks for listening. Bye.